When Red Army scouts marched through the gates of Auschwitz in January 1945, they were stunned by what they saw. Among the thousands of dead bodies covering the grounds, people who looked like walking skeletons reluctantly approached the fence. This is the story of the liberation of Auschwitz, and this is World War II in 2. I'm Dr. Jennifer Putnam at the National World War II Museum. In the weeks prior to the liberation of the concentration and death camp complex that was Auschwitz, 58,000 prisoners had been forcibly evacuated from the camps. In order to prevent their capture as witnesses to war crimes, the SS marched them towards other concentration camps in central Germany, far from the front lines. Underdressed and malnourished, thousands of these prisoners died on these marches, which lasted days and weeks in the freezing winter. Only the sick and elderly stayed behind in the camp, unable to march. They feared that the SS might kill them and destroy the site to hide the evidence, as they had begun doing in the days before the evacuation. Instead, many SS officers and guards abandoned their stations, leaving the camp partially unguarded in its final days. When soldiers from the 1st Ukrainian Front of the Red Army opened the gates to Auschwitz on January 27, 1945, they found around 7,000 prisoners wasting away in the barracks. The few who were well enough to approach the soldiers were afraid it was all a trick. Some of the soldiers spoke gently in Yiddish, reassuring the survivors they were safe. Others offered food, blankets, and medicine. In the following days, sick and malnourished prisoners were transferred to hospitals, while others aided in investigation efforts at the site. Opening up mass graves, Soviet investigators uncovered the extent of the killings at Auschwitz. 1.1 million people murdered in less than 5 years. Liberation was a moment of reckoning. Many Jewish survivors realized that their families had been killed. Though they were free, they were alone, with no home to return to. Thus, they began a long journey to recovering, rebuilding, and restarting their lives.